Come on, be a man, compete for this one. Would you stop being soft? Like, where do you want this ball? And your process completely went to shit.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not really helping here. That didn't work either. You can't overcome it right now.
Yeah.
Let's try another one.
Okay. Might run out of balls here. Part of me should maybe feel a little relieved.
I think
Honestly,
you should, because we're gonna get a game plan out of this.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard the Par Train. I'm Evan, and thank you guys for hopping aboard the channel. Make sure you subscribe and hop aboard the channel now. We help frustrated golfers enjoy the ride again, and hopefully this video can help me do the same thing. Okay, a little context. I flew to Birmingham, Alabama to see arguably the greatest sports psychologist in the game today. He coaches anyone from Brian Harmon, Sam Burns, John Rahm, Billy Horschel, and I went to see him at his home club because I felt like I had the yips. The ball was going right, the ball was going left, full swing yips. I'd never hit the ball this bad for this long, about a year. You know, I thought enough's enough. I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna remove the veil. I'm gonna talk about my biggest struggles, and we're gonna see if Bhrett can help me. Now, I will tell you, before we get you to this video did not go as planned, okay? Some things happen that I would not have expected. Make sure you stay to the end to see, but I think you guys are gonna really enjoy this. So let's get you to Alabama, and let's see if Bhrett can fix me.
Here's the deal. We're gonna go play. We have no chance to warm up because of the construction work, which is gonna make your anxiety higher.
Yep.
But what I'm gonna do is watch you during the process of this round to see kind of your systems. I may not have an answer right away, but it's gonna be kind of seeing what you do and where we can get to work.
I remember going through every swing fix or swing feel I've had in 18 years of playing the game, of something that I can just go with, right? I didn't know what to go with. And for that rest of the tournament, I couldn't hit. I was basically in no holes.
What you have to understand is that the mind's most dangerous thing is uncertainty. And when it gets to uncertainty, it starts trying to predict the future, and the only thing it knows is the past or threat. Well, if your past has threat in it, guess what it just connected to? Here, look at this drive. You got away with one. Yep, that's you.
How did I end up here?
I don't know.
I think I hit it OB in the trees, and I am...
Yeah, right there. And I'm gonna tell you guys, we didn't place it here. We could have, but we didn't. 10 yards to the right of the pin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where we want to take it.
Okay.
And if you overcut it right, that's okay. Okay. You got a full downhill thing.
All right, so I'm gonna hit my 5-iron.
Are you most comfortable with your 5-iron?
Versus 4?
Yeah. Okay, good.
Would you go 4?
I go 5. I was just listening to see what you thought you liked.
Oh no. Right in the water.
Right in the water. Okay, so the reason I was kind of asking was, you know, with me throwing a little bit of doubt in there, it broke your process.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay, so that was kind of on purpose.
Okay.
Okay, because then all of a sudden you wanted to hurry up and hit it, versus going back through your process and saying, and telling me where you wanted to hit it.
Yeah.
And slowing down. You got really fast and really quick. That's what happens in our brain when something gets in there. I just said it to get you off. Okay. Because I also knew from an adrenaline standpoint, you're on a par 5, you wanted to be there in 2.
Yeah.
So let's drop another one and let's do it right this time.
So I'm gonna hit it at that little curve by that bunker.
Yep.
If it draws, it draws. If it doesn't,
you're good.
I'm good.
Yeah. Beauty. So this is what I want everybody at home to know. One of the things that we did on that first one was I messed with you. I did it on purpose, okay? Because I knew that you had adrenaline. You'd already said on the tee box, I want to get on a par 5 and 2. You got away with a drive, and it was in the middle of the fairway, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And your process completely went to shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I slowed you back down. You picked a clearer target. Your actions around the ball were naturally slower, and now you have an eagle putt if this was your first ball.
Yeah.
It's not, but that's why we're out here learning.
So what you just saw, a block right and a pole left, is a very common thing that I fight throughout.
On a 1 to 100 scale, how close were you to locking into target and intention there, versus how much was Bob showing up and getting in your head? If you're having to think that much,
yeah, it probably wasn't.
Probably wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a high percentage driver shot for you? Do you have a fairway finder?
Probably my 3-wood.
How about with the driver?
Okay. Not really.
I'm a big believer in all players should have a fairway finder.
Yeah.
And a fairway finder's goal is that 75% of the time it's going to be in play.
Right.
Okay. And so for me, my fairway finder's teeing it down a little bit. I'm not saying that's yours.
Okay.
But it may be, you know, staying a little closer to it. It may be, you know, a good rhythm or, you know, shoulders to shoulders, whatever it is. Somebody always comes to me and says, this is what I do.
Yeah.
The reason is your second one, you were trying to crush it because in your mind, you didn't go through it enough like you did on the first one.
Yeah.
So now you hit it down the left field line and hit a foul ball left.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'd rather you do is have a game plan of like, this is the one I know I can hit. And there's instructors that teach that, but it's a great skill to have because we don't want to be live or die on our driver.
Right.
Okay. It's a 385-yard beautiful par 4, but it's not really that hard.
Yeah.
If you're in play.
Right.
The shot here is the tee ball.
Right. See, that's it right there.
There it is.
I was starting to feel it in my hands.
Where were you feeling it?
It's hard to describe. It's this little feeling in my hands.
Go get another one. We're going to practice. We're out on the golf course. We're not shooting a score.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not really helping here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, at least he came out.
Yeah, I'm glad Bob's here.
Yeah.
We're going to work Bob here a little bit. Bob is here. That's how I like to name it. Bob's here. Okay? It's not really me. It's Bob. Bob's an asshole. Bob's here. Bob wants me to screw up. Wants me to be embarrassed. Bob's a dick. Okay? But I'm aware that Bob's here. So if you invited a friend that you didn't like to a party and I didn't like him, I'd have to know that that friend is here and I have to be on guard. I don't have to let him rob my joy of the party. I just have to know I don't have to spend a lot of time with him. Come on, fuck Bob. Stand up to it and fuck Bob. Tell me where you're going to hit this thing. Come on, be a man, compete for this one. Would you stop being soft? Like, where do you want this ball?
All right, so I'm going to hit it at that left tree.
Okay, go get it now. Come on. That didn't work either. So how much do you think is mechanical?
I mean, I assume it's a big part of it, but I'm also like, I hit good drive after good drive on the range. I know it's not the same.
But so what changes? What water finds a crack?
Yeah.
Okay, so what magnifies right now? So when we have pressure, pressure impacts us. Nobody's immune to pressure. Water always finds a crack. So if I took your water bottle and it had holes in it and it was empty, it's a completely functioning water bottle. Okay, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It won't know it has, the holes will not become evident until you put water in it.
Yeah.
And the pressure of water will expose those cracks. Okay, and that's the thing that we want to look at is when those cracks happen, what do we do? And you maybe think I'm throwing things against the wall.
Yeah.
I'm actually not. There's certain things I'm looking for and then I'm trying to get you to do. I feel like you've got a fear matrix running right now inside you. And that fear matrix is when you got something that's a tight over here, that I'm trying to get you away from being kind of on your heels and protective.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite figured out what it is yet.
Yeah.
But I also feel like when you're getting to here, this is stopping, that's flying open, and the ball is going way right.
Right.
That's not mental.
Right.
That's a flaw that's magnified with speed.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's try another one.
Okay. Might run out of balls here.
Where'd that one go?
Went high right.
Okay.
But it didn't feel as like, let me try that again.
I still can't see any of your golf balls.
Better, but still high right.
Out of play again?
Yeah.
Okay. See, what Evan's going through is exactly what everyone else goes through. You find something last week that you think solved the problem. And now all of a sudden, all you want to do is hit that golf shot over and over, and we overdo it. The number of reps you took to find it, you're not doing today. And so what gets off? We need to get our foundations in place, which we'll talk about at the end, that allow us to perform time and time again. I think you have a mechanical flaw. Sorry.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I've seen too much consistency that you can hold it together under no problem, but we've got to get one or two things removed and have somebody take a look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's why we have PGA professionals that do that.
In my mind, it was, I had a bad performance. I started to bring more fear to the course, and then I just kept redoing that cycle over and over, and now I have this fear moment every time I pick up the club. You're saying it's possible that there is a flaw in my actual mechanics that makes it really hard to execute.
Yeah, the ego part of me as a psychologist is like, I can fix you.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I also have to look at what you're mechanically doing, and you've hit the same flaw every time.
Yeah.
That high right, and that's not right.
Yeah.
You remember I told you earlier your
I
water?
have lost a lot of distance too.
Well, I can understand
Yeah.
why. You're sky high with those shots, and there's no compression.
Right.
Okay. I'd say they probably got you on TrackMan. Your angle of attack is way positive. Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, but you need somebody who knows what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to swing mechanics. I just know something ain't right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that being said, remember I told you back on the couch, I said you have a water bottle with holes in it.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens when you put water in it? It starts showing water. Your swing looks great when you can time it on the range, but can you time it out here when you have all these demands and your body's trying and your mind's trying to exert control over the consequences?
Right.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
So you can fool yourself on the range timing it. That's why people who have the yips with like chipping can eventually do it on the range because they've timed it. And then the first time they come out here, they
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's me. I've done that. Okay.
Well, that's what Parker told us on the podcast about the yips. He says, yes, there's a mental part to it, but in most cases, there's a setup issue and there's
always a physical issue.
yeah.
1,000% of the time in the yips, there's always a mechanical flaw that was okay. You were able to overcome it until you couldn't overcome it anymore.
Right.
You can't overcome it right now.
Yeah.
And I think what we need to do is get a better plan without thinking it's mental. Let's go, just like a tour player who's struggling. It's like, wait a minute, people say I've lost confidence. Well, it's because I can't repeat the shot I want to hit out of the right window.
Right.
That's what's happening with you.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So what I would suggest doing is let's go and have a beer and build out a plan on how to do it.
Okay.
I don't think you're a lost cause. I like the mental processes. You're doing everything I'm asking you to do, but when you get to this spot and this goes backwards and your head goes back and the club face goes that way, there's nothing mentally I can do to get you out of that.
Yeah.
That's not what you want for a podcast episode, but it's going to help you in the long run.
Okay.
Well, I know that you're frustrated because in your mind you thought there's something mentally wrong, okay? I want you to think of the mental game like a thread.
Part of me should maybe feel a little relieved.
I think
Honestly.
you should, because we're going to get a game plan out of this.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. But the mental game is a thread, all right? And it runs between all the different parts of our game and pulls it all together. But your performance has to follow a pyramid. And at the bottom of it is you have to have technical proficiency, okay? Or what I call foundations, okay? You can't base success on anything that's not solid. You got to have strategy that's got to work, okay? You got to have confidence or belief. And then the funny thing is now we put execution at the top. And we're talking elite execution. We're not talking the ability to swing, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about performing under pressure. Now, the thing that's important is when we have a breakdown here, if half of this part's gone, what happens to our foundation? Well, we can have a little bit off, but if we have a whole lot off, like what we have right now in your swing, it doesn't matter what's built up on top of it. It's
Right.
built weakly,
Right.
okay? And so the things that I look at when I'm watching play is I look at a player, and when I tell players to finish up afterwards and they get under pressure or stress, is I have them study how pressure impacts them physically, mentally, decision making or process, and their grittiness. Now here's the thing, I always talk about pressure being a complete privilege.
Yep.
Okay, so you tell me I can hit it fine on the range, but once I start getting pressure or stress, physically something changes. You feel stuck. You feel like you listed a couple things out there. And what's happening is you're stalling, the club face is wide open. Knowing those in the physical spectrum, that's where the problem is under pressure. And you may say, mentally, I don't trust what I'm doing. Well, how can you trust what you're doing if there's a physical flaw that
Right.
repeats?
Right.
We can actually trust that there's a physical flaw.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's what we were saying just off camera, which I guess should make me feel better, because at times I would feel like a failure in the sense that I know what to do and I feel like I'm doing the right things mentally. I feel like I'm picking out my target.
I'm committing to the shot. I'm not stepping in until I do, but it makes sense as to why I'm not committing in the middle of my swing. It's not a yip.
Yeah.
It's because none of my shots are on the line that I'm seeing and intending. So it's hard to commit to something that isn't foundationally there, is what you're saying.
So I look at it like ingredients, right? So if we're gonna cook a fine steak meal, you may have all the delivery and all the size that go with it, all the thing, but we're serving the worst cut of meat right now.
Yeah.
You're making it taste as good as it can, but there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
We gotta get a better cut of meat in there. And it's not that you can't do it. So what we look at is, how does somebody improve? So once we understand this, then we start understanding the way we practice. And the way we have to practice is what I call through foundations. So what we start doing is we look at it like a stepwise approach, where we start here, where we can do it on the range. Then we do it on the course with no pressure. Okay. Then we can do it on the course with pressure. Okay. And then we can do it when it matters. And we have to build up our confidence each step of the way of those motor movements. And right now, you're timing it down here.
Right.
But the flaw, because we've got a foundational mistake, is breaking down over time. But the fact is the way you're going now, all you're doing is continuing to poke a hole in remember what we said, our self-image?
Yeah.
Okay, so our self-image up here, which controls all of us, is just getting knocked to bits.
Right. Totally. Okay.
So you step out on the course, why wouldn't you have fear, doubt, pressure, stress, all the other stuff? You don't know how, but if you could repeat the same pattern of seeing the ball come out on the same window, now it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you guys for hopping aboard the channel. Make sure you subscribe. And before you hop off board, as I said at the beginning, this video did not go as planned. I thought it was a mental issue. Bhrett told me, hey man, you should be relieved because it's actually a mechanical flaw. The first thing I did was I went to see Colin Morikawa's old swing coach and mental coach. They worked together for 18 years. I went to see Rick Sessinghaus back home in LA, and I got a swing lesson the week before I left for 4 weeks in Scotland. That video's coming up, and I'm gonna show you my whole journey going from feeling like I had the yips to trying to rebuild my swing from scratch and figure out what the hell I'm doing wrong in my swing. So stay tuned for that video, and thank you guys for hopping aboard. Hope you enjoyed the ride.